everyone. My name is Louise Brown. I'm the wife of Elton Brown. We have two sons, Elton Jr. and Jason Brown. I'm a pretty much lifelong resident of Riceboro Crossroad community. And for the past 28 years, I've spent working with the law enforcement division, sheriff's department, police department, and district attorney. And in that time frame, I believe I got a passion and a love for law enforcement, which is to me a part of politics. And several years, about 15 years ago, I've always had the desire to be a part of the city council of my community, Riceboro. And so I believe that at this time, God has prepared me with what I need to stand up, speak up, and be a new voice for my community to go out and add to what has already been established and bring something new to Riceboro that may not exist at this time. So citizens of Riceboro out there in the audience, vote for me, and I will do all that I can to be pleasing to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. We're going to move forward now with the city of Walterville. All candidates for the city of Walterville are for post 3 is Larry D. Baker, Sarah B. Hayes, and in post 5 is James Henry and Vincent K. Prey. I think Sarah Hayes is with us today. We're going to ask you to come forward and give your statement at this time.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. When they said they were going to do the forum, I said, yes, yes, yes. It'll give me a chance to meet a lot more people and to tell them a little bit about me. I have been in the city of Walterville since 1991 when I first was stationed here as a soldier. I fell in love with the place, I fell in love with the atmosphere, and I fell in love with the weather, of course, because I'm from Kentucky. I am a military retiree. I retired in 2006, and I had my home built here in 1995 because I knew when I retired, this is where I was going to stay. Now, like most military people, I had no intentions of getting into politics, but I saw a need. I fell in love with the city of Walterville, and like I say, I had my house built out there, and I saw a need for a more, for people to come together a little bit more. There wasn't a lot of involvement out there with the citizens, so I began to come to the council meetings and watch and see what was going on and study and do my reading and educate myself on politics. I never knew politics would be so crazy, but I have the fortitude to stick to it and to help our city of Walterville become a better place. And this is my first, I am a city council member right now, so this is my first term, and I'd like to think that I'm doing great things out there. I see a lot of growth and a lot of growth potential. We currently are having classes for our senior citizens. Some of the things that I do, I am the council member that's over the fire department. When I first took over the fire department, it needed a lot of work. We've been through 2 fire chiefs. We have someone who's educated, has some seniority, and he's driven to what I call the spirit of excellence. That's what I profess, the spirit of excellence. So our Walterville Fire Department has done a 360, and it's wonderful. I came in there and I saw that some of the fire department members, firefighters and chiefs, weren't getting along that great. So what I did was I got everyone together. I sponsored, myself and the city sponsored a dinner, brought everybody together, and now they're getting along very well. Some of the things I also do is I give free computer classes to our senior citizens because we can't leave them behind. Technology-wise, we need to stay aboard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. Next, we're going to move to the Hinesville City Council. We've got 4 districts that have contested elections in them. And what I'd like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is when I read the names from each district, if you just keep your seat but raise your hand so everybody in the audience can see who you are, okay? District 1, Diana Reed, Kathy Wynn. District 2, Jason Floyd. Mr. Andrew Williams. District 3, Vicki Nelson. Still in District 3, Arthur Nixon. And in District 3 as well, Joseph B. Stewart. And last but not least, District 5, Mr. Kenneth Shaw. And his challenger, Miss Angela Wilson. And at this time, we'll ask Miss Diana Reed to come up and speak.
Good evening. Unlike the last two, I'm going to read mine because I have a tendency to stand up and my mind goes down. But anyway, I am Diana Reed. I've been in Liberty County ever since 1962. I am the mother of 3 children. My platform is about strengthening a community that I've been a part of for 54 years in county. From the Rebecca Street Housing Project to Gulf Street, the Old Village South, and the Point South, where I currently reside. It's my desire to give back to the community in which I live. And I do believe, with God's help, that being a city councilwoman affords me this opportunity. I'm more than willing to work with whomever is elected to make the city we all can be proud of to be called home for a day or for a lifetime. I can and I will work with all municipalities, county, state, and military leaders to ensure cohesiveness on all levels of government. For real leadership with the heart to serve, I invite your support to allow me to be the voice for District 1, and to God be the glory.
Thank you, Ms. Reed, and I do believe that District 1, correct me everybody if I'm wrong, but District 1 is the vacancy that's been created by Mr. Charles Frazier, who's running for mayor. So neither one of these ladies are incumbents. They're both vying for a position that's been held by Mr. Charles Frazier for a very long time. And next, challenger for Miss Diana Reed would be Miss Kathy Wynn.
Good evening. Good evening. I would first like to give honor to God, and thanks for this opportunity to be a part of this platform. My name is Kathy Wynn, and I'm running for City Council of District 1. My desire is to be the voice with a new vision. With my voice, I will speak on issues like growth and education for our youth, allowing them to play a part in the growth of Hinesville. I read a quote by Abraham Lincoln that said, "The best way to predict your future is to create it." We forget sometimes the youth is the ones who are our future. With my voice, I would also like to see a community center for boys and girls to utilize, a place they can make their own. With future growth for our youth, I also have a vision to see Hinesville, Liberty County be the coastal living community of choice, encouraging open lines of communication, clearly discussing issues affecting the city and its citizens. My vision is also to encourage employment that strengthen local government, requiring that construction going on in Hinesville should require hiring a percentage of our locals, assuring prosperity and growth for everyone. I also look for affordable housing. Everyone, and I feel the American dream is home ownership. So make homes affordable for everyone, not just some. I have been a native of Hinesville all my life. I was born and raised here. This is where I choose to continue to live because Hinesville is close to my heart. So I look forward to serving as a member of the City Council for District 1. And I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wynn. We're going to move forward to District 2.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Jason Floyd, and I'm District 2 Councilman, and I'm running for re-election. I'm born and bred in Hinesville, Georgia. I have continued ties to this community. My wife, Becky Floyd, is a surgeon at Liberty Regional Medical Center. My daughter, Lily, is 9 and in 4th grade at FPCA. My mother and father, Carol and Billy Floyd, and my brother, David, all live in Hinesville, as well as my mother and father-in-law. I graduated from Bradwell Institute and attended Georgia Southern University, where I got a BS in finance. I continued my education at the University of Wisconsin, receiving a graduate banking degree. As a councilman, I've received training and awards by the Georgia Municipal Association. I've worked at the Heritage Bank for the last 18 years. I've had the opportunity to serve my community for the last 5 years. During this time, we've accomplished many things. The city has continued to grow while much of the state contracted. Armstrong now has a satellite campus here. Veterans Drive is becoming a corridor for new business, enhancing retail growth. Bryant Commons is now open to the public, offering an amphitheater, picnic areas, and coming soon a dog park and Veterans Memorial. We received funding for $4 million of an airport extension project that fulfills a commitment to Fort Stewart and allows the possibility of new business growth in that area. What I offer the citizens of Hinesville: I'm a proven consensus builder. One man accomplishes nothing. I work well with others and search for common ground. My financial background will continue to be used to try to keep spending in check and reduce taxes while continuing to meet the obligations of a growing city. I'll continue to pursue a public-private partnership to build a youth entertainment facility to offer a place where young people can go for family entertainment. I'll maintain and enhance our strong relationship with Fort Stewart, for it is our greatest economic engine. I'll continue to work with veterans and retirees to make sure the city is doing its part to offer opportunities to see that their needs are met. I'll continue to pursue opportunities to encourage business growth in our city, both retail and small business. I'll remain accessible to the citizens of Hinesville. My number is listed, and I pledge to always vote my conscience and do what I believe is right. Please vote to re-elect me on November 3rd. Proven service to Hinesville, proven commitment to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jason. And next, we're going to have Mr. Andrew Williams.
Good evening. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Andrew Williams, and I'm a retired combat veteran and a current Liberty County Planning Commissioner. Our city has come to a crossroad, and now you have the power to change the political landscape of Hinesville. If elected to be the city councilman for 2nd District, there are several things I would do to help ensure that your quality of life is enhanced. First of all, I plan on establishing a youth internship work program for our young people to help promote work ethic, and experience. The internship program encourages developing minds for the future and connect our local business owners with our young people. Second, economic development is on the mind of most of you, particularly with regards to our downtown area and main corridors. I'm proposing a continual downtown revitalization project, along with developing retail stores that will promote new businesses and new residential areas to bring people back to the heart of our city. This project will be done in collaboration with the Hinesville Downtown Development Authority. Economic development is greatly needed in order to create jobs that are desperately needed in our city. I also strongly support small business efforts to expand. And third, I'm proposing an in-depth review of our overall annual budget. The city must recognize that it cannot spend itself to prosperity. It must set realistic expectations as to its projected revenue and cut spending until the city again has better economic times. An increase in tax revenue or reduction in our overall debt service could give the taxpayers the much needed tax relief that we desire. Higher property tax is not the answer. And finally, I'm a leader who is in touch with the everyday needs and concerns of day-to-day people. My work as a mentor, veteran, and church leader has given me a unique perspective on the pains and challenges that you face. When elected, I will commit my service to the 2nd District. I will continue to remain engaged with the citizens and be vowed to face the district throughout the county and the city. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. We're going to move forward to District 3. We're going to have going first Vicki Nelson.
Good evening. I'm Vicki Nelson, as she previously said, and I too am ready for a change. I'm running for City Council of District 3 because I want to assist and be a part of the continued growth of an independent city where all citizens are excited to live here. I like to have better communication between the citizens and the city as it relates to the needs, the priorities, and the successes of Hinesville as it relates to funding. I am focused on opportunities, diversity, and transparency between the city and the citizens. I like to see the youth and the seniors be a part of all future planning as it relates to them for activities. I like to find alternative and creative ways for funding other than tax increases. Increase the collaboration and strong relationships between the economic growth and development. Assist in creating jobs and opportunities for economic growth and development. Collaboration between strong relationships between public and private entities. And I pledge to be available, accessible, and accountable as a city council person. I have lived in Hinesville for 22 years. I have strong roots here as well. I have 3 children. I sit on various boards and councils. And if you would make your choice my voice, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. I was remiss to say that this is the district for our outgoing councilman, Mr. David Anderson, so this will be the seat for District 3. We have coming next to the podium, Mr. Arthur Nixon.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such an honor and a pleasure to be able to take part in this forum, and let me give all glory to God. My name is Arthur Nixon, and I am running for City Councilman for the 3rd District. My platform, which is simply a voice for the people, simply means to speak with a strong, clear, concise voice for those that are unable to speak for themselves, especially those residing in the 3rd District. My job will be to speak and to represent them at all times. No one does that better than a social worker. My agenda will consist of problems or situations that arise in our district. All issues and concerns will be addressed using a 2-pronged objective. First, I'm going to educate. Education empowers an individual with knowledge about the process of how city council works. Second, I will advocate. Advocate simply means to represent someone who you believe in with a strong ideal and supporting their situation. Finally, 3rd District. My 23 years of military service has taught me to always have a mission statement. Here's my social work mission statement. The primary mission of the social work profession is to enhance human well-being and to help meet the basic needs of all people, with particular needs to those that are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. A historically defining feature of social work profession is the profession focused on the individual the family, community, and the well-being. Fundamental to social work is the attention in the environmental areas that create the situation, which contribute to and address the problems living. Exactly my mission as a city councilman. Finally, let me tell you why I qualified. I like to call it groundwork. I have done my groundwork. Walking the entire 3rd District, Veterans Parkway, Elaine Street. Thank you.
It's not good to be so bad, guys. Our last candidate for District 3 is Joseph B. Stewart. If you come forward now, thank you.
I was hoping he would get a comment on Elaine Street. Hello, I'm Joseph B. Stewart, or Joe Stewart. I'm seeking the office of Hinesville City Council District Number 3 for the betterment of my district and my city. I came here via the U.S. Army to Fort Stewart, Hinesville in October 1980 and retired eventually from the Georgia Army National Guard in 2001. In April 1984, I began a 20-plus year career as the adult probation officer, Georgia Department of Corrections, Hinesville probation officer. I was employed as a paraprofessional in the Liberty County school system until 2008. I'm a member of the First Presbyterian Church here in Hinesville since 1983 and married my wife, Theta Stewart, in 1991. I'm a member of both the National and Georgia Trust for Historic Preservation and the Nature Conservancy. I've been a residential homeowner on Sharon Street since October 1982 and was selected by my neighbors as the head of our Neighborhood Watch Crime Prevention Program. In 1994, my neighbor, Kane Clark, and I went before our city council to protest the dumping by the city on the city-owned lot at the end of Sharon Street. That ended that practice and eventually led to the Irene Thomas Park being built. But what do I want to do on the campaign, on my presidency, or not, sorry. Not going to be president, as a council member, What do I want to do? On the campaign trail, I've heard we need fresh blood. I want to propose that city council members like the mayor can only serve 2 consecutive terms. A $50 residential city property tax, homeowner city property tax refund. It's simple. Show your paid Hinesville homeowner property tax bill from the Liberty County Tax Commissioner with your ID to the proper city officials and from the period of 1 March to 1 June. It'll be recorded, and as I say, after 1 September, you should receive your check. Let's reward the linchpin of our city, homeowners, the ones who beautify our neighborhoods, not the blight of crummy rental property. One last thing, I'd like to see some pocket parks in the city made. Okay, thank you very much. And vote for Joseph B. Stewart.
For city council, not president. And last but not least, we have District 5. The relatively long-time incumbent, Mr. Kenneth Shaw. It's your turn, sir.
You can tell when you get old when you start putting glasses on. Just tell you a little bit about me. One time today I started not to come because I felt real bad there. But the Lord said, Kenneth, I got your back. Go ahead and make an effort. Telling you that those that don't know me, my name is Kenneth Shaw. I have been a city councilman for 16 years. I have served the people
I felt like, well, because the people have spoken when they put me back in there that many times. When we set out some of the things that we have done, work on the budget very diligently, I know we haven't satisfied everybody, but I think about myself that I have to pay tax also, so I do the best that I can to serve my district. My platform is to faithfully represent the citizens of the 5th District and to work with the other council members and the mayor for the best of all the citizens of Hinesville. I will strive to make sure that the city of Hinesville provides the most efficient service to our residents and to keep tax down as much as possible, and to continue to groom our city. I'm also, what makes me continue to serve as the city councilman for the 5th District, I am retired, 42 years of service. And I have been in the health field where I have touched many of you sitting here live. So I have the time. So I have the time to continue to serve the 5th District. I'm asking the 5th District, when you go to the poll, please remember Kenneth, the man for all people.
I'm not going to touch one of those comments. But we do appreciate that 42, seriously, in all seriousness, the 42 years of service you gave to the health profession in Liberty County. Thank you very much, Mr. Shaw. And your challenger, your esteemed challenger, Miss Angela Wilson, it's your turn, ma'am.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the host committees for inviting city council candidates here tonight. It gives citizens of Hinesville a great opportunity to hear what the actual voting members of city council will do for them. I want y'all to remember, the mayor only votes if there's a tie. So we need a good, strong city council in place. I want to tell you why I'm running for city council. First, I would be an advocate for families and children. If you work an 80-hour week, you should be paid a full-time living wage. We send our children off to college, and when they graduate, they can't come home because we don't have good paying jobs. So we need to do something about that. Secondly, I've lived here for 16 and a half years, and I'm still waiting on the current administration to bring some type of recreational businesses here to keep our 15 to 21-year-olds engaged. Excuse me, I have a little cold. Did you know that most of the incumbents have been here for 16 years or more on city council, and we're still waiting for that skating rink? Third, I would be an advocate for our first responders. There's no reason why the people we trust to protect us and who put their lives on the line daily should have to apply for government assistance. There are admin assistants who are on the city's payroll that make more than our full-time policemen. And excuse me, please don't get me wrong. I've been an admin assistant. I know they have a time with their positions, but being paid more than a full-time policeman, that's just something we've got to change. Our current administration can't give out the raises that they should because they're busy having planning trips to St. Simon and making big pay increases for themselves. So we need to change that. I want to leave you with a couple of thoughts. I will work hard for the District 5 constituency. I want to make sure that they have the things that we want and our parents want for us. And I'm out of time, but please vote for Angela Wilson, City Council District 5.
Just when it was getting interesting. That, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the City Council election issues.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get started with the second part of our forum. But before we get started, we'd like to thank some of our hostesses. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. If you're here, would you raise your hand, stand up? AUSA. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Community of Inspired Women Incorporated. Liberty County Chamber of Commerce. Liberty County branch of the NAACP. Liberty County Democratic Party. And Liberty County Republican Party. Okay, a few more housekeeping things. If you have your cell phones on, please turn them on vibrate or silent, please. And if you have not submitted a question for the mayoral candidates, it is too late to submit them, but we will pass and forward them on to the candidates so they can answer them in another type of form on a Facebook, website, or any other social media that they may be using, okay? We're gonna get started with the city of Riceboro, and we're gonna be asking them a series of questions. All the candidates will be asked the same questions, and so we're gonna get started. Our first candidate will be oh, I'm sorry. We're going to do introductions. I'm sorry. So we'll get started with.
Okay, so can you hear? Everything? Yeah. Okay. We're doing the city of Riceboro first.
One about young man with his hat on.
Sir, I'm sorry?
That's one young man with his hat on. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to start with the city of Riceboro. And there are three candidates for mayor for the city of Riceboro. William T. Austin, who is the incumbent mayor, and I do not believe that he is here tonight. Joseph Harris, who is here tonight. Will you raise your hand, sir? Okay. And then Mr. Gregory Richardson, would you raise your hand? Okay. So since Mayor Austin is not here, we will move to the next person in the alphabetical chain, which means Joseph Harris will receive the first question. Is that correct? Your introduction. Okay. We're gonna go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Joseph Harris, and I'm a candidate for mayor for the city of Riceboro. I like to say the most celebrated city in Liberty County. And today I have come to express that I have a platform. And my platform consists of 5 different ideas. One is to provide greater transparencies for our citizen when it comes to the city affairs. Also to provide accessibility in which residents might be able to utilize the city more in paying bills, in technology and et cetera, so you don't have to come to the window to pay your water bill. We also would like to focus on accountability, that we are the public servants. We respond to the public, we answer to the public, and explore opportunities for economic growth and preserve a small town feel and quality of life. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Gregory Richardson is my name. On March 18th, 2014, routine procedure. The doctor told me, bad news, it don't look good. 18 months later, the nurse said, good news, everything looks good. I say that to God be the glory. I'm a former mayor, and as God give me grace, I desire to be the mayor again. That's who I am. Thank you.
Next, we're going to move forward to questions that we're going to submit to the two of you gentlemen. And once again, we are going to start with Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris, this question will be for you. Okay? Here it is. As mayor, what would you do to foster inclusivity for all municipalities?
Thank you for the question. There's a couple of things I would do. I would foster a sense of home and belonging. We need to unite as citizens of liberty. We are all one. And so we work together for the common goal. We also, I would like to suggest that we should support and promote vibrant cultures. Although we're one, we're also all different. And we need to capitalize and share our differences by visiting different cities, seeing what different cities have, uniting together as one. And then we should work together to coordinate service delivery projects. Also, the last thing I have is to assure accountability and compliance of our county elected officials.
I would like to do my level best to promote and direct individuals within our city and within the county. Do my level best to be a part of the planning for the future, where when we have businesses wanting to locate in our county, we would direct them to the county, to the cities that does not have one of those. And what I mean by one of those, when a new banking institution, for example, wants to come in our county, no, I talk slow and the time is almost up. I would like for us to unite as a county and say, Riceboro does not have one of those, or Walterville, likewise a grocery store, or just direct those businesses to the city that does not have one of those. Thank you.
So Candidate Richardson, you'll get the next question. And the question is, everyone seems to have a platform of lowering taxes. How do you plan to lower taxes?
Well, since former Mayor John McIver was mayor and didn't seek the re-election, I believe he was there for 20 plus years, and then myself and our administration followed suit, and even the current administration, the water services that we provide for the city of Riceboro, and now the sewer project that has taken on 2 phases, and there are more phases. They are self-sustaining, and what I mean by that they are generating enough revenue within the city of Riceboro. So we do not levy a tax on the citizens or the city of Riceboro. So I think that's a pretty good percentage. To lower the taxes, I can't lower it no lower than it is because we don't have
I concur.
Well then.
Mr. Harris, we're going to let you have the next question, okay? The 3 more tax questions I'm marking off, all right? All right, here's one for you. How do you plan to restore a sense of community to your city?
I just want to say, since we don't have taxes, you can move to Riceboro. Actually, I have a list of ideas for programming for the city of Riceboro. One actually consists of community, which covers our youth, our working class adults, and as well as our senior citizen. Then the other addresses our civic organizations and our Riceboro churches. Then we want to also incorporate our city officials, city appointed officials, city workers, and lastly, our companies. We are very fortunate to have a unique community where we do work together, and I would like to improve those relationships for our city.
The citizens, listening to the citizens, there was time that we didn't have nowhere to go, no places to play sports. We have that now, a lighted ballpark. Thank God. Through joint effort through the county, we have that. We have a gymnasium in Riceboro. The citizens, these are some of the needs or things they wanted in our community. They have it, but it's not being utilized. So now we have to come together and get the citizens. It's a technology age. So I have some thoughts, and I trust that by the help of God, we can incorporate the technology in field work, being out there on the field, bringing technology in to be a part. Thank you.
Candidate Richardson, will you keep the mic, please? Do you support the special purpose local option sales tax, or SPLOST? Why or why not?
I supported it when I was a citizen, not an elected official, and I supported it as an elected official. That's the SPLOST. It has been a great help. It helps in us getting the gymnasium. It helps with improving the road, and most of all, our administration, through the effort of Mr. Holland, Melvin Holland, God bless him, he's deceased now. We got the fire station back operating, and through the love and dedication of the firemen, they joined, and we got together in the fire department and up and running. And those same taxes that we pay in, those pennies, we get the SPLOST is dedicated to the fire station within the counties, and we were able to use that to help get.
Thank you, Mr. Rich.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. You need us to repeat the question? Okay.
Do you support the special purpose local option sales tax, or SPLOST? Why or why not?
I do support SPLOST. However, I do feel like, and Lord help me, that there are some cities who have been at a disadvantage when it comes to the appropriation of funding. I can honestly say that I will do my best to observe the objectives that are needed, or the requirements, the criteria for SPLOST, so that Riceboro will have a better opportunity of obtaining more funding for SPLOST. Thank you.
Mr. Harris, you're on deck once again.
I need a text question.
Well, you could turn this into one, but I don't think it fits. The question to you, sir, is what is the most pressing issue for the city of Riceboro?
Everywhere I go, everybody wants a store. Everybody wants a dollar store. They want something to go shopping. They must got some money. So, to address that issue, one of my platform ideas is to look at ways in which we can obtain or grow economically. I can tell you, I'm a business major at Savannah State, and from my resources, all the schooling and education, guess what? I still know I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So I will be collaborating with different cities. That's one way we can integrate together. I would like to collaborate with different cities, the county chamber, in which we can actually promote and make sure we can execute the desire of the people. I am a public servant, not an ambitious, get my own thing going kind of guy. So we want to try and satisfy that need, at least be in the works to building a store in Riceboro. Thank you.
And just for clarification, question to you is, what is the most pressing issue for the city of Riceboro?
And I want to piggyback on that. Businesses in the city of Riceboro. Chemtal has 1,500 plus employees. Interstate Paper, 200 and something odd employees. And the sawmill. They come there, they work, get off the swing shift on both plants. Come here, work, boom, they go to Glenn County, Long County. They go out and spend the money out of our counties. So we need the businesses right there in Riceboro and our surrounding communities, so the money that they make in our city can be spent in our city.
A little lighter and personal. What distinguishes you from other candidates?
How fast I speak.
You still have time if you'd like to. This is the opportunity, Mr. Richardson, where you can kindly throw barbs at the other candidates. You understand that?
Well, my name is Joseph. I have a couple of titles, but I want people to know that my name is Joe. That's just who I am. I am Joe, your neighbor down the road, Joe who show up to the family reunion and the cookout and want to take a plate home. I'm Joe. But I'm a hard-working Joe. Joe means business. I mean to, we want to make sure that our goals and objectives are complete first, and then we can have the fun and enjoy the luxuries and the pleasures. We need people who can do business for our community and go to the table and speak on our behalf. And so my name is Joe. When you see me on the street, just say, hey Joe, how you doing there? All right, Mr. Williams. So just Joe. I'm unique, I'm personable, I'm friendly. Find me on Facebook. And I'm just Joe, old plain Joe.
We had one last question for you, but it seems to be very similar to one we've already asked. So what we'd like you to do now is to give us a 1-minute summary of why you should be elected.
Well, I feel that at this time in my life that this is just befitting that I try to work to help my community. I could see if I wasn't doing anything and I just decided by the wind that I was just gonna go ahead and run for mayor and just see what happens. However, servitude has been my goal in life. How can I better serve mankind? As a minister in the church and as a Christian, I have always learned at an early age, do right by people. Treat people right. Talk to people right. If you can do it, say you can. If you can't do it, say I'll try, I won't do it. All I'm asking you to do is vote for me, and I guarantee you, Mrs. Frazier, I will do my best. If we can work together, we will get the job done. I'm just that optimistic that it will get done. Thank you.
And why should they vote for you, Mr. Richardson?
They should, because I've been employed at Interstate Paper 37 years, 9 months, and I don't believe, unless God tell me to go another direction, I believe Riceboro shall continue to be my home. And I love people, and I love Riceboro, the city of pride. And there's some projects that's on the table, and like our former administration before, there was the waste treatment was on the table. and we carried it forward. And I have a lot of projects in mind, things I would like to implement, things I would like to present and work cohesively with the council members and be the voice of the people, a servant. The one thing I wonder, if we were to call this job a servant instead of mayor.
We've got to stop you. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Poole, is this the time when we are to ask the panel? We're going to keep going through all the candidates. We'll move to the next city now? Okay. Which one are we going to, Janice?
We're going to the big city of Walterville.
All right, Walterville's in the house. Good afternoon. My name is Daisy Shaw Prey. I received my education from Liberty County High in Armstrong. I'm married to Mr. Nathaniel Prey. We have 2 children, LaShonda Prey and Derek Prey, 4 grandsons. And I am very happy to be the mayor of Walterville, Georgia, always moving while improving. And I plan to keep the city moving at all times and listen to the citizens of the city. I always have an open door policy. Anytime a citizen would like to talk to me, I'm there to hear whatever concern or need that you have. And at any time that you need to call me, my phone is always on all the time for a phone call from the citizen. Because I love the citizen and my heart is in the city. And again, always moving while improving is our motto, and that's what we go by in our city of Walterville, Georgia. And we are happy to be here tonight in the wonderful city of Farmington, Georgia, to let you know that we are here in the city. And we are very happy to be here again, and we are always moving while improving.
And I believe you were the only one here tonight from Walterville, is that correct?
That says a lot.
Mayor Prey,
Yes, sir.
we have a few questions for you. The first one is going to be one that's already been asked. We're going to mix some of the others up. But the first question to you is, as mayor, again, what would you do to foster inclusivity for all of the municipalities?
Communication with all the cities, to listen to each and every city mayor, councilman, citizen, and share ideas, work together, and always remember that we're in Liberty County together and we all one county, and we should all be together on one accord at all times.
Okay, we're going to move forward to the next question. With budgets already so tight, where would you propose that funds for new programs come from?
I would have to review the budget in order to answer that question, because you have to make sure you have funds in the budget, and it's tight, so you have to go and check the budget.
Let's go to SPLOST, Mayor. Do you support the special option local sales tax?
Yes, I do, but I have some unanswered questions that I would like to have some answers before I come out and say, yes, I can support it 100%. Right now, I'm 95% support.
Would you mind giving us 2 or 3 of the top questions that you have?
My concern is that the money, the funds, be equally divided among all 7 cities in the county. And specific my city, because I'm concerned about Walterville, that we get our equal amount and our fair amount.
Okay, moving forward, what is the worst problem currently facing your municipality?
Right now, transportation, dirt roads, and trying to get every citizen in decent homes and with everything that everyone should have in the city, like fast food, grocery stores where they can stay in the city and shop and won't have to go to the next city.
Mayor Prey, you do have a challenger, obviously. Can you tell us what distinguishes you from your challenger?
Because I'm a mayor that listens to the citizen. I have a love for the citizen. Anytime they have a concern or anything that they feel like they need to talk to the mayor, my doors are open at all times. I always have an open door policy. They can come to me at any time. They don't have to make an appointment. They can come to City Hall and you can find me there unless I'm in a meeting in Hinesville.
How do you plan to restore a sense of community to your city?
By going out and talking to the citizen and getting their their concern, their input. And then we go back to the council members and then we talk about it as the mayor and council.
And to you, for being the only one here tonight, running for mayor in the city of Walterville, we're gonna let you conclude, Mayor Prey, and say whatever you'd like, and go ahead and tell everybody why you should be reelected.
Because we have projects that we need to complete. We would like to get an all-purpose building for our senior citizens, our youth. There's things that we would like to accomplish for our youth so that they can stay in our city and have recreation departments and games and all in our city. That's very important. And we need transportation for our citizens. And we need senior citizen home for our senior citizens so they can go and have bingo. They love bingo every Friday night. And this is one of the main things that I'm concerned about, because when the senior citizens have something to do, I think they live long and they are happy. And it's the same for our young people.
Mayor Prey, that's all we have for you. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to the city of Hinesville. Yes. We're going to introduce our candidates for the city of Hinesville for mayor.
And if you'll notice, as you look from your left to right, we have had them sit in alphabetical order. So Mr. Tyrone Adams will be the first to introduce himself. Go ahead, Mr. Adams.
My name is Tyrone Adams. Some of you may know me as Coach Ice. Some of you know me as Ice. Two things I want you to remember. I'll always tell you the truth. And if I don't know an answer to a question you have for me, I will go find that answer. Okay? You're going to hear from me tonight. You're going to hear me say together, together, together. Because that's the only way we can move forward. As a city, as a county, as a state, as a people. If we don't do it together, we're stuck. Right now, we need to decide that we're going to come together and move Hinesville forward. Thank you.
Moving down the alphabetical chart, Mr. Alan Brown.
I am Alan Brown. I'm born and raised in Hinesville. I graduated from Bravo Institute. It's pretty close. Okay. I thought we need a lot of it. Okay. Graduated from Bradwell Institute and attended college in South Carolina and Georgia. Finished with a degree in marketing and management. After graduating, I moved to South Carolina for a while and then to Atlanta. But in 1976, I came home to Hinesville, Georgia, to be the city administrator. And I've been involved in our community for all of the 40 years since then. I was the city administrator for 2 years, city council member for 4 years, mayor for 8 years, and I've been chairman of the Liberty County Development Authority for 23 years. But most importantly, I married Debbie Brown and had Meredith Brown for a daughter. Hinesville's been good to me, and I've been good to Hinesville. I truly love this city, and I am well qualified to lead this city again.
Mr. Danny Eason.
Good evening. I am Danny. It's great to be here. I hope later on to answer some of the political questions. Right now, just a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Liberty County, in a small little portion called Gum Branch, where my family still resides proudly. I served in the Air Force when I turned 19 for a little while. Not a whole lot of claps here, but a few of us, you know, appreciated the good life. We know. Already. So I'm married to a wonderful lady. We've got 4 daughters with a 5th daughter on the way. So, yeah. Full-on basketball team right there, and I cannot wait to share with you our vision for Hinesville through the rest of this evening.
Next we have Councilman Charles Frazier.
Good evening. I too want to thank the Liberty County Joint Political Forum Committee for sponsoring this event this evening. I thank also, and more importantly, those of you who live in this great city for attending this event. One of the reasons I am a candidate for mayor is because this is my hometown. This is the place where I was born and raised. This is the place where I met my lovely wife, Shirley, and became the proud father of 3 children. I love Hinesville and all its citizens, and I would be the mayor for the city of Hinesville, not for a chosen few or a select few, but for all of the citizens of Hinesville. This campaign is not about me, but it's about you, the citizens, and I plan to work extra hard to prove this to you. When I look back over our city of years past, I'm pleased with what has transpired, but we must continue to move forward. I'm excited about the possibilities and the challenges that face us. I have a vision and a plan for our continued growth and development.
Councilman?
I am the candidate.
You got the red stop. I apologize, but you've got the stop sign.
I'm sorry. Please vote for me, Charles Frazier.
Last but certainly not least, Mr. Liston Singletary III.
Thank you very much. As the moderator said, I'm Liston Singletary III. I'd like to thank the moderator. I'd like to thank the political committee that came together, that brought this wonderful forum together. And I'd like to salute all the cancer survivors in the room. If you're a cancer survivor, would you please stand? If you're a cancer survivor, let's give them a hand. I'm a retired combat veteran of 24 years in the United States Army. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, where I live on a little small island called Johns Island. Some of you may have seen it or heard of it. Now, I can't believe that. I'm a small business owner. I own Coastal Mediation and Associates LLC and the Mediation Group. I have 33 years of experience in management and leadership experience. I have an undergrad degree in political science, my master's in management and leadership, which I will graduate on November the 6th, God willing. I look forward to sharing with you my vision for the city.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to start with the round of questions. Mr. Adams, you are first. You're first up on deck. The question to you, Mr. Adams, is tell everybody here tonight what your vision is for the city of Hinesville.
My vision for the city of Hinesville is a community where our kids come up, we take them through school, they go off to college, they graduate, they learn and see new things, and they come back to our community. That's my vision, because that's the only way we're going to grow. If they don't come back with their new experiences, with their education, and pass it on to the next generation, we're going to be in trouble. Thank you.
Mr. Brown, the same question to you. What is your vision for the city of Hinesville?
I see Hinesville as a city with a new sense of community, and not a city with just gigantic subdivisions like the ones I've been walking through, knocking on doors, where people don't even know each other. I see Hinesville as a regional shopping center for the counties and the cities around us, with upscale stores and restaurants and entertainment for the kids as well as the adults. And I also see us becoming a more business-friendly city.
Mr. Easton, let us know what your vision is for this city.
Our campaign has thrived on the concept and the idea of vision. I love casting vision. As a candidate for mayor, my vision for our city is to understand that there is a way forward that builds upon the foundations that we have. That the best way forward is not looking back to the things that we have done, but searching new ways, new approaches, looking at other successful cities, and cultivating that kind of growth here in our city. As a father of 5 daughters, I want this place to be home for a lifetime for them. My mom was thankful when I came back home from Canada, and I'm sure that I want my daughters to stay here as well. And the best thing that we could do is to turn to our young citizens and say, what do you think of Hinesville? Because they're the future. They're the ones who will lead us tomorrow, and their voice matters.
what is Councilman Frazier's vision for the city of Hinesville if he becomes mayor?
Thank you. I'm glad you asked that question. One of the things that I'm so proud of is the progress that we've made in this great city of Hinesville. As I mentioned earlier on, I was born and raised here, so I know where we are now, and certainly I can appreciate the accomplishments that have been made. My vision is to continue to build upon the progress that we've made, whether it's through educational opportunities for our young people so they don't necessarily have to leave Hinesville, Liberty County to get an education. Also the economic side of it, where we will continue to promote growth and development. We need more jobs here in Hinesville and Liberty County. We have many opportunities, and we plan to continue to grow that, foster that growth so that we can continue to build. We need recreational improvements here, family entertainment facilities, and we plan to work very hard in order to make that a reality. And given an opportunity, I'll be able to expound on that sometime later. But I think that we have a great opportunity here in Hinesville, and I intend to be the mayor with a strong vision. And with your leadership and guidance, we can continue to move this great city of ours forward.
Mr. Frazier, thank you. Mr. Singletary, we'd like to hear your vision for the wonderful city of Hinesville.
Thank you, sir. My vision is summed up in the theme that you saw on the cards that you saw in the foyer. And it simply states, one community, common destiny. And that means that we need to have an economically viable and sustainable city in which we live in. We can only do it by bringing industry in. Industry, small business, those that will pay living wages. I know we have some industries that are here, but that temporary or part-time work just don't cut it when you're a homeowner and you're trying to pay the mortgage. So we have to be the one at the table advocating on behalf of the least of these, the hard-working individuals. Public safety, youth program, quality of life. Why youth programs? Because our youth, we tell them not to do this and that. But we need to bring in programs like the Boys and Girls Club. We need to have skating rings and bowling alleys, something so that they can take their energy and use it in a wise fashion. And lastly, public safety. I would like to introduce a community policing model.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singletary.
Candidates, will you pass the mic down to Mr. Brown, please? Okay, awesome. Everyone seems to have a platform of lowering taxes. How do you plan to lower taxes?
Well, it's not as simple as just lowering the budget. I know they worked very hard on the budget. I went to the last meeting and they're not quite there yet on this year's budget, but they're close. But you just can't lower the budget enough to lower the taxes. We've got to bring in those businesses that I mentioned earlier, and one of them just recently got approved, a new Kroger that'll be the size of the one in Savannah, about 130,000 square feet. They'll pay a lot more taxes over time, and they'll also have people coming in from Ludowici, Glenville, and all around, Riceboro, coming up here to shop, and we'll get... Don't penalize me for that. That will increase the income from sales taxes, and so it takes that, and then we also need to pass SPLOST. I hate it. We got buildings on there that are on long-term financing, but guess what? The taxpayers are paying for them now. We need the help of the other folks that help us pay SPLOST, and we need to get it passed. Thanks.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you. We would ideally lower taxes, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, by stopping the spending of so much money. When I have a budget shortage in my house, I can do one of two things. I can find more revenue, or I can stop spending money. Increasing revenue in the city means putting more money on the back of taxpayers. That's unacceptable to me. Yeah, that deserves a clap. That's good. We can find ways. Here's how we would do that real quickly. One of my gifts and specialties is looking at complex organizations and reducing the bloat. I think we need to take a fresh look at our city, do a segment analysis of every department, and find out where we're spending money that we don't need to be spending so that we can cut back on taxes, hopefully roll back our millage rate.
Thank you. Councilman Frazier, how do you plan to reduce taxes, lower taxes?
One of the things that I would do is work diligently in support of the SPLOS, because before we lost SPLOS, and I know that there may be some among you who disagree with this, but SPLOS is vitally needed in our community because it takes the burden off the back of our property owners. That's one of the things that I would do in hopes to, and once that's done, then we'll roll back. Once it's passed, we'll roll back that tax that was added on. And I think that would be a great relief to our citizens.
Obviously, I would look at the budget and ensure that we understand needs versus wants. And for those items that are just wants, then they may have to take a temporary hold. And in regards to the SPLOSH, I am for it. Here's why. Because if 1/3 of the people that are coming to our community is paying to help us in that endeavor, I would prefer that versus having taxes on the back of homeowners, those that work very hard. I'd rather spread the ability to pay for those capital improvement projects. For instance, public safety. The last SPLOSH was going to have $11 million for it. Roads and bridges, $58.8 million. You don't want to have that on your backs. SPLOSH would help us to pay for those items. And it's a 1-cent penny tax that's spread over a 6-year period of time. So I would definitely use that approach.
Thank you, Mr. Singletary. Mr. Adams?
Okay, I'm not gonna bore you. Everybody up here seems to agree that we need SPLOSH. Okay, it's been explained to you. You don't? Okay, I do. Now, the way I see it, we have to become a truly business-friendly city. I mean a truly business-friendly city. Right now, when somebody comes in and they want to open up a business, they have to shovel money after money after money after money to get that business open. Seems like the city should be able to work with a new business coming in and stagger what they have to do in order so they can get open and start bringing revenue in. Once that revenue comes in, they start paying sales tax, the city makes more money. Taxes will go down eventually. Don't get me wrong, I know it's not gonna be an easy job, but together, that word, we can do it.
Mr. Easton, what is the most pressing issue for the city of Hinesville?
So I think we've all made it clear that property taxes is probably the biggest concern on everyone's mind. We need to find a way. We need to find options. Listen, Mayor Pro Tem, who I respect greatly, just said SPLOST is vital. If SPLOST is mandatory, it's no longer a special local option sales tax. It's a special mandatory sales tax. So what we need to find a way to do is to get outside of the box, to find a way to lower taxes. We also need to make the city a little more business friendly. I'm a small business owner. Best coffee you'll find in Hinesville is at Uncommon Grounds in Hinesville, right? That's right. And we need to find a way to make it easier, more concise, more streamlined process for businesses to develop and grow.
Councilman Frazier, what is the most pressing issue for the city of Hinesville in your opinion?
I think, as I mentioned early on, I think that SPLOST is one of the most pressing issues, and to include that, we certainly need to figure out or find ways that we can promote business growth. Maybe we need to enhance our efforts in making our city a little bit more business friendly so that we can have more businesses to locate here in Hinesville. I must tell you that there are several businesses that are on the table that will probably be revealed in the next month or so. That's the growth that we're experiencing here in Hinesville. We will continue to promote that growth, and by doing so, we will reduce the property taxes on those persons who have to pay those taxes.
Mr. Singletary.
I think you will find once you've done some research in regards to SPLOSH that most of the cities who pass SPLOSH, they understand that it's a necessary. It's very necessary and it's very vital to our livelihood within our communities. The second thing, in regards to economic sustainability, Fort Stewart, I served 24 years in the military. I love Fort Stewart. But guess what? We have to be economically sustainable and not totally dependent on Fort Stewart. Okay? Now, I'm not knocking Fort Stewart, but what I'm saying is we have to move away from being totally dependent. Yes, they generate a lot of funds. Yes, approximately $3.5 billion may be generated out of there. But we need to find a way to capture that money and have that spent within our city. And the only way we're going to do that is by bringing industry in and by promoting small businesses to come up, form up, and be able to capture all of that money that's available.
Mr. Adams.
Two things, not one, two things. First, our children. That's first and foremost, and it's going to have to remain that way. Second is our police department. You heard a candidate earlier speak about the cost of living wages for our, well, like I call them, our heroes. That includes the police, the fire, EMS, all our public servants. They're out there working every day. They're running into the fires, chasing the bad guys, while we sit at home in comfort. We have to bring them up to where everybody else is. A living wage that everybody talks about. They need one also. Thank you.
And Mr. Brown, what is the most pressing issue for the city of Hinesville?
Sure, I haven't answered this question already. That's all I had. We all said taxes, and I agree. I've said earlier bits and pieces of this, but we can only get so much out of the budget. And I know my friend says he can take it way down. I'm not sure we can. We can eliminate some travel. We can eliminate some other things, maybe buses. I'm not sure. Things that are just not cost effective. But we do have to work on the budget first. We have to bring in businesses that will be paying much more taxes and creating more sales that will bring more taxes to the city. And then thirdly, we have to have SPLOSH. We've said it, most of us have said that, and it's not permanent. But it's all progressive cities seem to have it. In the state, I think there's about 8 counties maybe in the state that don't have it. And most of those are dying counties. Most of the progressive counties have it. Thanks.
All right, Councilman Frazier's going to get the mic next. We're going to lighten things up a little bit. There are 4 gentlemen on the panel with you. What makes you the better candidate for mayor than the other 4 gentlemen that's up there with you?
One of the things that I can tell you that makes me the better candidate, simply because, not necessarily because of my experience on the council, but for my great love for the city of Hinesville and because of the relationships that I have across this great city, this county. I have a great working relationship with all of our counties. Municipalities. Somebody mentioned earlier on about relationships are important. And I think that they're vital to any city. I have that ability to cross all sectors, economic strata, relationships entirely to move our city forward. And I think that's very important. Not only that, but I have the connection with the county, with our relationship with Fort Stewart here, which is, by the way, as was mentioned earlier on, the $5.1 billion economic generator for us. I have those relationships. I have the best relationship in the state because we will have to go to the state all the time for one thing or another. I have that relationship in the legislature.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Frazier. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I am too.
Mr. Singletary, what makes you the better candidate for mayor?
I would say that my leadership experience, I'm a consensus builder. I've had 33 years of leadership and management experience, not just at the local level, but at the state, the national, as well as international. And I believe with that type of background of bringing people together and helping them to resolve differences, at the state level, as some of you may know, I work with communities to help them to work with different governmental agencies as a professional mediator. So I feel that those skills are needed as the next mayor, to be able to bring people together and to get them to bridge the divide. As my dean says, one community, common destiny.
Mr. Adams, what makes you the better candidate for mayor?
Well, I don't know, most of you probably don't know, but I've coached youth basketball for the last 20 years with the recreation department. So I know our children. I deal with them on a constant basis. I don't just deal with them during the basketball season. I'm out. If you don't know, I drive a cab. I'm a hard-working man. I'm not a politician. I'm out there every morning, all day long, all over the city, from the poorest part of the city to the richest part of the city. I talk to people every day, all day long. And I hear their problems. I understand their problems. I feel their problems. And I can work with anybody and everybody. That's what makes me the best candidate.
Thank you. Mr. Allen Brown, what makes you the better candidate for mayor?
I would say people skills, first of all. I've spent my life building consensus. If you're in the real estate business, there are some out here, you'll understand that. I spent 8 years as mayor, and during that time I proved to have successful leadership skills. And I understand the job of mayor, not the other jobs. I understand the job of mayor. I moved the city forward when I was mayor, and I can do it again. Thank you.
Mr. Danny Eason, what makes you the better candidate for mayor for the city of Hinesville?
I was going to say fashion sense, but then Mr. Singletary has that nice bow tie on. And we all know that no one competes with Kenny Howard when it comes to how well you dress. So,
I'll second that.
So, I have a history for the past 13 years now. I'm only 32. I guess that obviously sends me out just a little bit more as well. But for the past 10 years, I have been tasked specifically with going into organizations and restructuring them, helping them realign and reorganize to cut bloat that maybe someone doesn't find there, from Crossroads Church to Uncommon Grounds, to even working with the Southern Baptist Convention to go and consult with churches up in Canada. This is what I've done, and this is what I would do for the city. I don't think you can just look at the budget and take money out. Obviously, there are things that we have, but with some reorganization, we could probably find a better way to spend it, and I bring that to the table.
Mr. Singletary, it comes as no surprise, or it shouldn't to any of us, that Fort Stewart is the lifeblood of Liberty County and Hinesville. What, if anything, would you do to change the relationship between the mayor and the city of Hinesville with Fort Stewart if you were elected mayor?
Well, I don't think I would necessarily change the relationship. I would probably improve the relationship if there's such a thing as improving. I would want to work to forge a better relationship, looking for opportunities where we could do collaborative type ventures together and be able to embrace the veteran population a little bit more by providing more services within the city versus out on the base, especially with our veterans that are disabled.
Mr. Adams, the question to you is, what would you do differently, if anything, with working and building or continuing the relationship between the city of Hinesville and the leadership at Fort Stewart?
I personally think our relationship with Fort Stewart is at a pretty good point. My concern is building a relationship with all of the cities in Liberty County. Something I would do was an idea, of course we would have to talk about it. But I think it should be mandatory for the cities to sit down to breakfast, for the mayors once a month to come together and sit down for breakfast and get to know each other. How are you gonna have a relationship if you don't know each other? You don't know what the other person is interested in, you can't have a relationship. You don't know what the other person is going through. If she can't tell me what she's going through in Walterville, and I can't understand that, then how are we gonna work together? There's that word again. Thank you.
Mr. Brown, the question on the table is what you would do, if anything, to change the relationship between the city of Hinesville and Fort Stewart.
I would, as everybody said, I would work to improve it. A thought that I have is that, and it's a little like what he just said about the other cities, there was a time where we met pretty regularly with the leadership at Fort Stewart. It wasn't just the mayor. It was the mayor, the city manager, it was the police chief, and several other people, probably the fire chief. All the people in these leadership roles in the city met with their equivalent on Fort Stewart. And we sat down and we talked about what's going on in Hinesville for the next 6 months or so, in the same way with Fort Stewart. Every now and then we get a little surprise about things that go on Fort Stewart, and one of which is they're renting properties out there right now to people who've never been in the military. I'm kind of confused about that. And I'm not saying that from a realtor. What I'm saying is we manage properties for military people that aren't here. So they have a hard time fighting the war when I can't rent the houses for them and they let them get into bankruptcy. So I would try to just enhance that relationship the best I can.
So I believe that our former mayors, definitely Mayor Thomas, have worked laboriously to provide a great relationship with military commanders. Here's how we would improve upon that. I believe the best way to keep a commander happy is to keep his soldiers happy. The best way to do that is providing activities here in Hinesville for spouses to have preference when it comes to job. I'm proud to employ Army spouses. They're here, which is good. I'm proud to minister at Crossroads to military families. I would honestly struggle a bit in relationships with commanders that Mr. Brown would be able to form and Mr. Frazier definitely would be able to form. But I do know how to minister to families, and I know how to serve families. And the way that I would labor to build the relationship was to keep the families happy, so the commander's happy, Fort Stewart grows, Hinesville grows, everybody's happy.
And Councilman Frazier.
One of the things that I would do is to continue the great work that our Mayor Thomas has done. I think they meet on a quarterly basis with the Commanding General at Fort Stewart, and that we have a very good working relationship with them. Now, back in 1991, when we had the very first deployment, many of our family members left and went back home. But since that time, because of the relationship that we've developed with the Fort Stewart community, those families remain here in Hinesville. I'm not saying that everything is complete or as it should be, but we will continue to enhance that relationship by making certain that we inform the military what's going on in Hinesville, and likewise being informed from them about what's going on at Fort Stewart. I don't know what all we can do, but we want to continue to do what we've done.
Okay, Mr. Adams. Everyone on the panel has talked about enhancing our community for our younger generation. As a young adult in Hinesville, what are some of the activities or businesses that you would like to bring forth to the city of Hinesville?
First thing, I would want to start a little earlier. It's my vision that somebody mentioned about the subdivisions here in Hinesville, Liberty County. We have ordinance for everything in the world, everything under the sun, if you look at our code. But it's a good point. But yet, They can come in and build a subdivision with 200-300 homes and not put their park in there for the kids. When we were growing up, we played with the people in the neighborhood, didn't we? Yeah, we played with the people in the neighborhood. That's how the community came together. I bet you there are people in here that have been living next to somebody for 2-3 years and don't even know their name because their kids don't play together. If the kids play together, the parents are required to go find out where they at.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Mr. Brown, what type of activities or businesses would you like to bring forth to the city for young adults and children?
First of all, the only thing I think the city can probably do, somebody can correct me that's sitting in office now, is maybe help with some incentives. The city has a hard time literally bringing businesses to town. Those are economic decisions that whoever owns that business have to make, and they just have to study and see that, you know, that their business is warranted. One thing I would like to do, though, is form a youth council made up of students from the high schools and the middle schools, and I would like to meet with them personally on a regular basis and find out what they're interested in having. It isn't what I'm interested in having. Anybody in this room, unless you're in middle school or high school, but that's what I do.
Mr. Easton?
Both their answers. Like I said, I talk about my daughters a lot because they're what I know. I've got 4, and we participate in Hinesville activities as often as we can. Like Mr. Brown said, we can't make Chuck E. Cheese built in Hinesville. Coastal Courier, there was a sound off that said, you know, complaining about Walmart and Kroger. City and Council didn't build Walmart and Kroger, right? So nothing they can do about that. But what we can do, kind of touch on what Mr. Adams was saying, is relax some of the ordinances to bring businesses here to Hinesville. What the city can do is try to find funds to put parks in cities, in subdivisions. We live in Liberty Park, right outside of Gate 7. We're fortunate enough to have a homeowners association, but even we could do more to have a park out there, to have park in all of these subdivisions so that people have something to do.
Mr. Frazier, specifically, what are some type of activities or businesses you would like to bring to the city of Hinesville?
I think one of the most important things is that we provide some entertainment for our young adults. And that's why I would work diligently to make certain that we have a family entertainment center. We have that, we're beginning to move forward with that now, and I can tell you, we hope to break ground on that within the next year or so. Now, as far as our the parks in our neighborhood and communities, I was very involved with putting together some little pocket parks in most of our communities now. Our subdivisions that are planned now, subdivision, I think above 100 homes would automatically have a recreational park in that community. And so we will continue to promote that, and I think that we can do that. Our young people deserve to have facilities like this. Thank you.
And Mr. Singletary, as a young adult and a resident of Hinesville, specifically, what are some type of activities and businesses you would like to bring to the city?
One of the committees that the mayor will sit on is the Liberty County Development Authority. And with that position, the mayor has some influence. And I do believe that with that influence, he can encourage, because you are the voice of the city. You are the CEO. So if you can't promote your own city, then there's a problem. We may not be, or the city may not invest in these individual businesses, but we sure can have a voice to help to spur on some interest within our city, to get those entrepreneurs or those small businesses to come here. For instance, the Chuck E. Cheese that was alluded to. Yes, that's a franchise business. But if you go out and promote your city, someone may look at it, look at the demographics, look at the profile, and say, you know what, I probably need to go there. They got a big military installation, a large population of kids. Let's go there. That would help enhance. Boys and Girls Club doesn't cost the city anything, but that's a 21st century grant that's available that the school board can collaborate with and bring. But we can only do that when we go out and be the voice for our young people.
Thank you, Mr. Singletary. Well, we have completed our panel questions, so let's give all of our candidates a round of applause. That's not the end. That's not the end. Hold on. That's not the end. We have some audience questions. Some of you submitted some audience questions. So we're going to go to our panel. Oh, you need a microphone.
Am I addressing it to anyone special or just asking? Can you hear?
No, speak up.
Speak into the microphone.
I'm speaking. Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you so very much.
Mayor Washington, I believe we're just going to continue the same order.
Okay. Well, the question that I'm going to ask is this. Candidates, many of you have made promises and presented ideas to change various things if you are elected. How do you plan to fund your promises and ideas with and without Splash?
I think Mr. Brown.
We're going to do everybody.
Everybody? Okay.
Okay. So Mr. Harris, it's you.
Thank you. How will we fund without Splash? Well, we're with and without. Okay. Well, there's many plans we could use if we had the money. We could do many things. I do want people to know that it would not be an independent decision on my own accord, that there will be stakeholders in the community that will come together to address those needs in our community. We're fortunate, I like to always say, to have one of the biggest employers of the county, S&F Holding Company and Interstate Paper. And so with that, we have utilized, when I was grants administrator, many of their resources and collaborations, and so we would like to continue that partnership within our community.
And ditto to that, from what he said, everything must be cost effective, pursuing grants, and doing what the majority of the citizens desire, if it's cost effective.
Thank you. Pass it on. Yes. Mayor Pray.
I would go and look for grants. If we couldn't find any grants, we'll ask for donations, or we'll just have to save up and put it in our next year budget.
Mr. Adams?
With Splash, first thing we got to admit that we dug ourselves some financial holes dealing with Splash, okay? We have been building, and haven't been paying. That doesn't work in nobody else's house, okay? Doesn't work in anybody else's house. And if we did not have Splash, there are plans, there are grants out there with the government that we could go to and say, we want to do this for the kids, we're trying to do that for the kids. We're trying to do this to help our community. I think the city had a group of grant writers at one time, I don't know if we still have, but we can put them pens to work and burn up some ink. And that's what we would have to do. Thank you.
Brown?
Could we get the question said one more time?
Mayor Washington.
I thought we needed to repeat that question. Many of you have made promises and presented ideas to change various things if you are elected. How do you plan to fund your promises and ideas with and without Splash dollars?
Thank you. I don't know how to say this except saying it. I don't think I made any promises from this seat that required any more money. It was getting with people and getting things done that I talked about mostly. But let's go back to SPLOST though, because they're talking about SPLOST there. We've got to have SPLOST to get these big buildings off our backs. If we don't, we're going to go bankrupt in our city and our county. You know, I'm not happy that it came out the way it did. I wasn't there. We've got to be more transparent. We've got to get those paid off, and then as we continue with SPLOST, we've got to make the public understand exactly what we're doing with that money. Every penny of it. Thank you.
So with SPLOST, without SPLOST, in no certain order. To be clear, as a citizen of Hinesville, I am completely neutral on SPLOST. As a mayoral candidate, I want to serve the will of the people. And if the people vote for SPLOST, then I think the job of the elected representatives is to make sure that we don't spend more money than we intend on taking in, that we roll back property taxes like was promised, that we try to be conservative with the money that we're going to spend. And without SPLOST, again, I'm not promising to add anything new. I'm promising to cut from. And so that's easy to do when you don't, if you don't need more money, you can't spend, you know what I'm saying. At the end of the day, SPLOST historically has increased government spending, but it's also, you know, I ran out of time.
What is the question again? No, I'm sorry. Listen, one of the things I would do, the City of Hinesville Development Authority contracted with the Georgia Southern University to determine if a family entertainment center was feasible in our city. And this is one thing that I've heard all along during the course of this campaign, is that we need more family entertainment. And because of that, the analysis determined that our region, our city, was set that we could afford to have such a facility here. So I would push forward to make certain that we have a private public partnership so that the city can promote that from the public side, and of course we could, that would be an incentive for somebody in the private sector to come forth and help us build that. SPLOST, I can tell you once again, with or without, we must, there's some debt that we must service, and one of the ways that we can service that is if we get SPLOST back on the books and get it passed. It is I won't say it's mandatory, as somebody say, but it's absolutely necessary if we're going to continue to move forward. Thank you so much.
Duran, do you have a question?
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Singletary.
What I would invite each of you to do is to take a look, if you haven't looked already, at the proposed budget for 2016 and our previous budget for 2015. When you look in terms of the SPLOST, you will see that it is definitely vital for us to pass SPLOST. If you look at that budget and you look when these payments are due on City Hall and on the courthouse, I don't think you want to have that burden on your back to shoulder by just basically paying taxes or having your taxes increase by way of property taxes. I made no promises in regards to extending or raising your taxes. But what I did ask or suggest is that we seek out ways in which to bring in revenue. Executive salaries, I would look at that. I would look at entities like OMI, your cost benefit analysis. Are they really necessary? Do we really need to keep them? And if so, what are the pros and cons behind either getting rid of them and using our own management?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Or leaving them in place?
Thank you.
All right, good evening. One of the main topics we've been talking about continuously is actually SPLOST. One of the concerns of the public, I guess of why it was eliminated, was that there was no understanding of what it actually did. How will we actually explain to the community or get them to actually understand what SPLOST is? What would be your position on it and explain it to the community?
Duran, let's start with Mr. Singletary and come back this way. Is that okay? Mr. Singletary, did you hear the question?
Yes, I did. Simply, I would ask all the leaders, we would have a meeting with all of the leaders within the community that are stakeholders, that have a concern or have a large pool of people that they have some influence over, especially your pastors and youth pastors and business leaders. Have them all to get an overall briefing as to what SPLOSH is all about, and explain to them the pros and cons behind either passage of it, or if we allow it not to pass, and where it would leave us from a financial standpoint. I think if we do that and help to educate our community a little bit better in that regards, I think you'll probably have less apprehension because we'll have some information in which to make a more informed decision.
One of the downsides to being an elected person in relation to SPLOSH is that we, as elected persons, simply can't go out and promote it. But I can tell you one of the things that from the last SPLOSH effort, people simply did not understand the magnitude or the detriment of not passing the SPLOSH. They didn't realize that there was a possibility of their taxes going up if they did not pass SPLOSH. And because of that, we had debt, we had the service, as I mentioned. Another thing is, I think that one of the things we really need to do is to make certain all of our citizens have an opportunity to look at what's proposed to be, and give them an opportunity to have an input. And not for the elected person to say, this is what we're going to do, but listen to you, the citizens.
November 4th, 2008, Liberty County voted to pass SPLOSH. November 5th, 2008, you all received a notice in the Coastal Courier of property tax increase. It is incredibly disingenuous of anyone up here to make you think that just because you vote for SPLOSH, your property taxes are going to go back down. What we know from a study that was produced out of the University of Auburn of 136 counties in Georgia, what we know is that SPLOSH has insignificantly impacted the millage rate while significantly impacting the per capita tax rate. It's already on our backs, the debt. Let's continue to suffer through it for just a little bit longer. And then SPLOSH cannot, they keep saying it's not permanent, yet we keep getting it back on the budget. Sounds permanent to me.
God, we're spending all night talking about SPLOSH. First of all, we did promote it. I say we. I was not a part of it. I tried to be, but I wasn't invited to the table to be a part of it. But the chamber was the main organization. I've heard our city administrator, I think our city manager, a whole lot of people explain it. The problem this time was they were explaining those big buildings and how we had to pay them off. And people were turned off by that. They felt like they just didn't realize they were going to be there quite that long. So we've got to do a better job of explaining it the right way. We've got to make people understand it. But here was another problem we had. Help me if I'm wrong, Mr. Head of the Chamber. We didn't have very good turnouts. We had meetings to explain it. People didn't come. They didn't care. So they just voted against it. And then they did get a notice pretty soon afterwards that their taxes went up. It's not to lower your taxes. It's to pay, in my opinion, these buildings off and then do the proper things with the balance of the money. I think people will vote for it.
I think the question was, how would you explain it to the public, correct? Here it is, simple. When you go to Savannah, you pay an extra penny. When you go to Richmond Hill, you pay an extra penny. When you come to Hinesville, or when they come from Savannah to Hinesville, from Midway to Hinesville, wherever, they don't pay that penny. Their roads will be better than ours. Their gyms will be better than ours. It's that simple. And people did not understand that at the last election. They thought, and it was put out, that it was a new tax, which it wasn't. is that simple. Explain it. Thank you.
Moderator, can I change my comments?
No, just shop local.
I think Mr. Tyrone Allison said everything about, there's nothing else to say more than what he's already stated here. If we get this information out to all the citizens, there should not be a problem, but we have to go out and make sure this information get out, not just to this group, but to the whole county. And I think we wouldn't have a problem.
And I agree, but you know, we sit here, there's a small, this is 0.5% of the people represented here for our county. And then even you all, once the election is over, how many of you are gonna be a part of what's going on? Or just let things go until something comes up. Then you holler, then you want something. We have to stay involved, you all have to stay involved, and then other, how many thousands of people that's not here need to get involved. We can only do so much, put it in the papers or mail it out to you, but the citizens has a responsibility likewise.
I concur again with Mr. Adams. We need to get that in the Coastal Curry and the Sound Off front page. So Riceboro can understand that, Walterville, Hinesville, because I think the issue is not necessarily what it does. It's, we don't understand half of the time. We all got a different interpretation and perception. And so, you know what, Mr. Adams, you helped me out a whole lot. I'll pay the penny.
Testing.
Okay, thank you. Give us your understanding of the minority business plan, and do you support it?
That's you, Mr. Harris.
I can honestly say that I'm not well versed on that issue, so that'll be something I'll be looking up when I go home tonight. I can honestly say that I am for minority businesses, though. I would like to create more diversity of businesses in Hinesville and diverse individuals in the county. As you know, we would like businesses in Riceboro. Come to Riceboro. We're gonna find some land for you. So I'm not well versed on that, so I won't speak so much on that.
Thank you. Yes, I would like to promote the minority businesses, but likewise the small business in general. We are trying to draw and attract large businesses, but some of those large businesses, speaking from a union standpoint, they work the workers up to 39 hours, but not to 40 hours, where they can draw benefits. The businesses that are here now, we need to do something about it and protest it. Anyone would stand and do that. Would we refuse to go in Walmart for a day or a week? Will we? So the individuals that's trying to make a living would be able to get benefits on the businesses that are already here. The the developers come in our communities, we put these tough rules. They gotta have retention pond, paid parking and that. And we put that same burden on the citizens for small businesses. We need to do something.
I agree that we should support them 100% and let everyone know that we are supporting them, and we will be very successful in doing this.
Back at it again, huh? I support all businesses. Doesn't matter minority, Oriental, Chinese, Green, Martian, it doesn't matter. We need them here in Hinesville. That's what we're talking about. I mean, it's funny the way I'm putting it out there to you, but it's simple. So we all on the same page. That's called having a conversation, okay? When you have a conversation, it takes two people, at least. You can't talk to yourself because you might start answering yourself and then you're in trouble.
I'm not familiar verbatim with the city's policy. I'm going to make an assumption that it's much like the one that the Development Authority has, that I've been chairman of for 23 years, that the NAACP current chairman and Jeff Arnold drafted for us, and we all approved, and I think Mr. Williams. Well, Mr. Williams may have drafted it, but they were heavily involved in it. Sorry, Mr. Williams. I know you were involved in it. We found it to work very well when you understand it. It's a little complicated. You got to understand it. And the people that we're trying to get to bid often don't understand it. So we got to work with them and educate them. And I think Mr. Williams has had a couple of initiatives to try to set up those kind of training sessions. But we have seen it work successfully at the authority, and I'm sure we can at the city.
ICE changed my opinion on SPLOS. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Not that, but since I've been the lone candidate on SPLOS, let me just kind of go out here and say this. When it comes to minorities, I understand the privilege that I've been given in life. Life has been very fortunate for me. And if we can do anything to help those who have had to work harder than I am to get to where I'm at, then we should do it.
Good answer.
That's the short answer. The long answer is to add on to that and say, I am proud that at Uncommon Grounds no one makes minimum wage, and as a mayor I want to fight to see that raised in Hinesville as well.
I truly support the minority business enterprise. And in fact, as was before mentioned, Mr. Williams being able to craft the policy that they have with the Development Authority, I was vitally involved with crafting that sector for the city of Hinesville with our city attorney and with Ms. Espada. We have a plan, we have a program. I think that there may be some misunderstanding about what the plan actually does. When we talk, it's not about just supporting minority businesses. We want all businesses to come to Hinesville. What we are talking about is that when we have these large major construction projects going on, that we don't have minority participation to the level that we think we should have. That's the issue. It's not about just supporting businesses, but being sure that the contractors that come to our community don't just bring minimum wage persons to work, but that we have minorities that can get a piece of the rock. We got a $7 million project and we walk away with only 1% of the income going to minority persons. That's what this minority business enterprise is about.
Mayor Pro Tem Frazier summed it up. Equal parity is what it's all about. Those minority businesses and business people, they have to make a living as well. So to have equal footing and have an opportunity to compete or to get some portions of the contracts is essential for their livelihood. So it's about fairness and equity. That's all it's about. And I definitely support it.
All right. My next question is, what issue is not getting enough attention, in your personal opinion? What issue is not getting the most attention? And we'll start with you, Mr. Singleton.
If I were to single out one particular issue, and this is after talking to numerous people within our community, it would probably be to institute a community policing model. Why is that important? With community policing, police and community build a relationship on trust and respect. The police get out of their cars, they get to know who you are, they get to know your neighborhood, and therefore the likelihood of people being apprehensive about talking to police when they come in the neighborhood will probably be remote. And in those communities where there's a good community policing model in place, crime statistics go down because you're working together. Public safety.
I too think that public safety, in particular work with our police, is vital to us. I have proposed, and we will shortly implement this plan, that we would have our police officers that not just patrol through our cities. In years past, we had a bike patrol, and it worked very well for a while, but then our bikers got weary riding in the sun on the bicycle. So that police, we didn't demand that they do the task, the job. It was voluntarily, so we didn't have any police officers to volunteer. We still have those bikes, by the way, if we got police officers because we want to serve. But I think that it's important that we have our police officers that can get out of their cars. Don't just pass me by when you see me sitting on the side of the street, or if you think that I'm having a bottle of Coke and it's actually wine, stop and talk to me. Because it's important that we build those relationships. Thank you so much.
So public safety, for sure, my father's a Liberty County Sheriff's Deputy and want to see our police officers, our sheriff's deputies, firemen taken care of. But one of the biggest issues, we focused a lot on SPLOST and property tax. I received a message during the campaign from a constituent of Hinesville who said that he would like to see us do something about property taxes because he had to pay nearly $20,000 on his rental properties in taxes last year. And I thought, well, I'm sad. Most people in Hinesville are struggling to eat. So I'm sorry that was such a struggle. And I say that sarcastically, but the reality is what Hinesville needs is intentional leadership on making sure that people can actually make a living here. Right? I mean, we need to pay people for what they're worth. And humans have intrinsic value, and we need to make sure that people can have food on their table and pay for their kids' lunches at schools.
I think I'll take something a little different. If we don't restore a sense of community to our city, all the things we've talked about won't even matter. If we don't get to where we know each other and love each other and have a common goal, we ain't getting anywhere. We're not getting anywhere. So one of the things I want to do is set up a committee, like I did talk about for youth, but this is a multicultural, every aspect of our community. And I want to bring them into City Hall. I want to chair the meeting. And I want to say, here's your first assignment. Help us find out how we get the sense of community back in our community. When you figure it out, come back and see me, and we'll put it in place. Thanks.
Let's talk serious for a minute. We have, I know of a police officer, okay? He makes less money, take home money now, and he's been there, he retires in 3 years. He makes less money now than he did when he started, take home. Okay? We cannot keep officers here. They're leaving, they're going to Savannah. Savannah's paying more. Poole is paying more. Everybody's paying more. We can't keep officers like Mr. Jenkins here. He's been here. Everybody in the community knows him. And in saying that, you can go up when something is going on. You can go up and you can talk to people.
Mr. Jenkins has killed
your time. You can have a conversation.
Mr. Jenkins has killed your time. Thank you.
Repeat the question.
Repeat the question, please.
What is the most pressing issue for the city?
I would say it would be housing, because our police department go out and make checks on our senior citizen, and they go out and communicate with our young people, so we don't have that problem in our city because we have a police department that serves the community and all the citizens, young, old, whatever, they're out every day communicating with all our citizens, so we don't have that problem with our police department, so I would say housing for our city.
Again, for the city of Riceboro would be more businesses and find a way to implement a way that starting up, they wouldn't need $100,000 to even start up. That's the problem. A lot of things, ordinances and rules and regulation is in the way. It's a hindrance to the small businesses. But some way, find a way, and something that's within my heart is those citizens that are individuals that have made a mistake in their lives and turned around, but now want to do good and find a job. We still have a wall up from for those individuals. They did the time, but we still are locking them out. Every application they fill out is, have you ever committed? So we need to work on that cohesively within our county.
What's the question again?
What issues, well, I think I asked another question, but it's almost the same thing. What issue is not getting enough attention, or what's the most pressing issue?
Okay. For Riceboro, it's businesses. It's businesses, thank you. I think, but more so, as Riceboro citizens, we need to hear more where the citizens can impact our decision making. We really, really need to invest in our citizens. Look how many citizens are here tonight from Riceboro. I'm very happy that they came out tonight. You know, even though our council did not come, we want to make an impact and represent our city well. And so wherever we go, we need to represent them well by what they would want. So if they came tonight, they would want us to be here. And so it would be required that we come here. And so in the same way in our city, if they want stores, come to the table. Let's draw plans of how we can actually achieve those goals. We need to address community needs and coming to the table.
Okay. Within your respective city, could you tell us about the current programs and ordinances already in place to deal with blight? To deal with blight, B-L-I-G-T-H. It says B-L-I-G-H-T. Okay, can you see?
It should be B-L-I-G-H-T.
Okay, they have it spelled B-L-I-G-H-T. Okay. Does everybody have that one? Okay.
Yes. Well, our city council, and we have a meeting tomorrow, they work heavily with blight. And so I go to city council meetings to learn more so that I can be more active and more influential in making decisions. They're also working with different county entities to use blight as it is appropriate for the city of Riceboro.
Do you have any current programs and ordinances already in place?
I believe they have a few ordinances, but I don't know of any programs, no.
And me not knowing right offhand, I'm going to pass on that question. Thank you.
As far as our city, I'm not aware of any, but it's being part of the county. We have some part of the county, but not as far as our city is concerned.
Me personally, I wouldn't know for sure exactly what programs are in place. I know the city of Hinesville, the mayor, the council, they do a good job. I mean, not to toot their horn or toot my horn, is to once again, it's about doing it together. And I have to give them, they do a good job. They try. I think I can do better sometimes, but they try.
I'm not familiar, I can't remember all the way back, because it's been a long time since I sat in the seat of mayor, but I do know the city has ordinances. Let me tell you the tough part about that is, it takes guts sometimes to enforce those ordinances because of the people that you're having to deal with. Sometimes they're in unfortunate situations, and they have a hard, I mean, they can't deal with it. So I'm not sure what the city does in those cases. I would continue to work as hard as I could to eliminate blight and hopefully follow the ordinances that are already in place. Thank you.
Yeah, so as Mr. Brown said, it's just seeing ordinances enforced as they should be. I'm thankful there are programs in the city that encourage clean homes. Matter of fact, we just saw in the Coast Courier a couple weeks ago an article running where they awarded neighborhoods and houses that were presentable and clean. One of the things that we could do, my wife and I are huge advocates of the less fortunate in our community, and a great initiative is if people are struggling to clean up their own homes, is to go in and help them. It don't take any money to put on a pair of gloves and go to a neighbor's home and help them clean up. Another way that we've done that is to keep pressure on homeowners. I serve on a HOA, and we live in Liberty Park, and there are some lots there, and we just keep pressure on the homeowners association to follow the codes of the city.
Several years ago, we had a charrette that came to Hinesville that consisted of the Department of Community Affairs and University of Georgia. And one of the things that they determined that we did have some blight in Hinesville, not like we were unaware of it. But from that initiative, we started a program on Azalea Street. And I was very instrumental in getting that program off the ground. I was the one that went and first met, because it was in my district, met with the citizens there. Now, from that, you've seen a renewal on Azalea Street, which is a great project for the city of Hinesville. I think we need to give ourselves a hand for that, because that was one of the most blighted areas in our city. And today, and we're moving now into the third phase, so you see all the rest of it be cleared up, and hopefully people would have an opportunity to be able to get homes there, affordable homes. So I'm very happy about that. One of the other things I'm concerned about, this initiative, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. I'm sorry.
I think all the responses have been exhausted. I've seen the city ordinances, and it's very specific as to what homeowners or neighbors can do if someone left their homes unattended, or grass growing up extremely high where rodents are coming in. And I believe the development folks for the city of Hinesville are doing a very good job in addressing those things, as well as bringing grants to our city in order to help to clean up some of those blighted areas.
Okay, Mr. Singletary, hold on to that microphone. We've come to the end, ladies and gentlemen. What we're going to do now is we're going to let each candidate have 2 minutes to give their closing, their summation. And you're on right now, Mr. Singletary. Close it up for us.
Well, I'll start off first by saying thank you once again for allowing me to be here. After going out and meeting with the citizens of the city of Hinesville, I'm compelled to run for the mayoral seat. I feel I have the leadership experience. I feel I have the tenacity to resolve. I feel I have the consensus building within me that will help to promote and move our city forward. After looking into the eyes of so many families and hearing their cry for jobs with benefits, and for looking in the eyes of the children just asking for simple things like this improvement of the quality of life, I know that I can help promote and seek out those entities that can help us in that endeavor. Hinesville is a beautiful community. It is a community that's on the rise that can be better. I can build upon those things that Mayor Thomas has done so valiantly as the leader, because your mayor is the leader. And as leader, you have to take ownership. And you have to have that vision to move forward with your community. My theme, one community, common destiny, is just not words and not a cliche. In order for us to come together, we're going to have to check the egos at the door, and we're going to have to say goodbye to the status quo and truly be meaningful and responsible to the people of the city of Hinesville. With my leadership, you will know that we're going in that direction. So I ask that you would please tonight evaluate and allow God to use you in making that decision to vote for me, Liston Singletary III, as your next mayor.
Thank you so much, and I certainly appreciate the opportunity that we've had to voice our concerns and share with you our thoughts and our vision for the great city of Hinesville. I believe that we are at the cusp. Under the leadership of Mayor Thomas and the mayor previously, the city has grown. This is my home. I was born and raised here, so I know how far we've come. But yet, there's much that we can do. There are great opportunities before us, and I'm pleased to have the experience. The contacts and relationships are important, and you can't just talk it, you have to be able to work it. My leadership tells me, and if you check my record, you will see that I am the leader for this great city of Hinesville going forward. We simply don't want to go back. We must continue to go forward. And going forward, you need to have someone who have the ability to work with people, to be sure that we can build a consensus. I have that ability because I work with all of the other municipalities in our county, all our states, on the state level, on the federal level, and of course with folks too. I look forward to continuing to move the city forward. So I ask on November 3rd, please vote for me, Charles Frazier, and make me the 19th mayor for the great city of Hinesville. Thank you.
I don't like that Mr. Brown gets to go after me. My wife told me before I left tonight two things. She said, don't talk too much, because I'm a pastor and I tend to do that. This minute timeline thing is really constraining. And she said, second, don't get too passionate because it comes off as angry when you do. So I've tried to be faithful to my wife here tonight. All of us, I believe, on this stage running for mayor of Hinesville, love Hinesville. I would not question anyone's heart for Hinesville up here. They're passionate. They love the city. What we're aiming for in our campaign is to bring fresh, new approaches to the same old problems. To walk in with new solutions and new ideas. With SPLOST or without SPLOST. With a rollback of millage rate or without a rollback of millage rate. To come together around the table and say, if this isn't the solution, then we will work diligently to find one. But we will not keep presenting the same solution to the people over and over and over again. We will get outside of the box. We will get creative. We will bring fresh blood to the table to see how we can move forward. That's what we've worked on. That's what we've built our campaign on. From day one, we have been about casting a vision that would promote action and produce results. That's what we've done. We've wanted to convey an idea, like Mr. Adams, that we are better together. We've tried to convey an idea that we are Hinesville, not just the city council, not just the people that have been here for 20 years, but the people who just PCS here yesterday. We are Hinesville. And everyone needs a voice. Everyone needs to be heard, and we can move forward in that direction. So come November 3rd, vote for the guy who dresses really well.
You talked about speaking before me. I got to speak before ICE. Be nice to us this time. Thanks to everybody for coming. You got to be on information overload. I am. And it's hard to remember what we said and what we haven't said, but I just have a few bullets I want to close with. We must elect a mayor who truly loves the city of Hinesville. The mayor must have a vision for the city. The mayor must improve the quality of life in our city. The mayor must have proven leadership ability and an actual track record. The mayor must restore trust in our city's elected officials. The mayor must run our city like a business. The mayor must bring back a sense of community to our city. The mayor must have the ability to work with officials in Washington, D.C. to protect Fort Stewart's future as well as on Fort Stewart. The mayor must be able to work as a team with the council, the county commissioners, the mayors of the other cities in our county, and with the school board, by the way, and the Liberty County Development Authority. Now, you've heard, not the final word, but you've heard from all the candidates. Now you must decide who can lead our city to where it needs to be. I think that answer is clear, and I hope you do too. Thanks.
Oh, Hinesville, we need to have a talk. I want you to understand, I'm not a politician. I told you before, I get up every day, I go to work, and I work till 7, 8 o'clock at night. I get up the next day and I do it again. I have bills in my house that I have to pay with what I make. I'm a common man. Got a lot of common sense. Don't be confused though. I have an IQ of 182. I ran 2 different multi-million-dollar businesses. I know the city ordinances probably as good, if not better, than anybody in here. I fought the city of Hinesville, our city council and mayor, in a nice way for 18 months to get one of my businesses open. If you want somebody that's gonna get out there and fight for you and fight for what you want, somebody that's gonna be accessible to you, that's me. I told you before, I drive a cab. If you want to talk to the mayor, all you gotta do is call Yellow Cab. Hold on, let me give you a little tidbit. Because when I was growing up, my mother taught me that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. We have to stop that in Hinesville. We have to put some common sense in there to get done what needs to be done. Thank you.
Mayor Bray, how can we get in touch with you?
Cell phone. I'm very proud of our city. We have accomplished a lot of things in our city. We don't have city taxes, but we have a paid police department. We have a part-time fire department. We are the first city to have recycle. We have a recycle truck. We have our water lines now all over the city. We have water meters that will tell you what's going on in your home. If a problem with your water bill, we can answer the question for you. We have our senior citizen organization, and we have military appreciation. And we're now looking into improving our lifestyle of housing out there. So we are very proud of our city and what we have accomplished without having city taxes. And we ask that you stay with this group and move the city on without city taxes. Yes, we may not have city taxes, but the money we have, we know how to handle what we have. Thank you.
As former mayor of Riceboro, our administration, we did accomplish a lot during our 8 years working as a servant for the city of Riceboro. We will continue that as mayor. Respect every individual on that council that was there with their ideas and opinions and thoughts. And we brought that together, respected one another, and worked together. And I appreciate that administration we had. When the law says no, we follow the law. When we were able to do certain things for the citizens, we done it. If we done it for one, we done it for the other. If we didn't do it for one, We did not do it for the other. We stayed consistent with that. And we can look a man or lady or citizen of Riceboro in the eye and tell them, thus and such is the case. We didn't do it for this one, and we are not able to do it for you. Explain to the citizens that what we took, brought, and presented to the citizens of Riceboro. We respected them as adults and that they had sense, and they appreciated that, and we will continue that if I am elected for the mayor of Riceboro. And I appreciate what Mr. Harris brings. It's a privilege to be sitting with him, another representative for Riceboro. I appreciate him, and it's a privilege to be with you representing. I wish the current administration was here representing, but however, we are here. Vote. I have to separate from you now. Greg Richardson.
Well, when I moved back here, I did move back here after college, and I felt that there was a need or a calling in my own community of Riceboro. And when I came back, I saw a youth center, but the youth center was always empty. Only basketball on Sunday, it seemed like, and went down the road, and all there was a post office. And Miss Summerlin at the time, she was a nice lady, but nobody really was in the post office. And you got a gas station, everybody at the gas station, and you got two big companies. And I said, well, what can I do to make my city better? And then when I decided that it would be a good thing and with God's blessing to run for mayor, I said, well, what can we do to make our city better? Riceboro is a place where everybody knows your name. So it's very important that you have a good name in Riceboro, because they're going to say, who is your family? So when I came, I worked diligently, hard as a young man to improve my community. You didn't need to elect me, you didn't need to vote for me, you didn't need to pay me. I just knew that kids needed help reading, so I volunteered after school, at the after-school program, and I gave time to them so that they would be better readers and better students academically. I see that, you know, there's some neighbors who have leaves all in the yards. You know, if I can do it, I'll go cut your grass. Some people don't think I can cut grass, but I cut grass. It's whatever I can do to serve my community. And I don't think this is going to happen, but should I not win, it's not going to stop me from serving my community. So I would like to solicit your votes. Get on the phone tonight, post it on Facebook, put it in the Coastal Courier. Vote Joe Harris for mayor of the city of Riceboro. Thank you.
Gentlemen, you have heard the visions, the hearts, and the humor from the yellow cab to East Flush tonight. Let's give all of our candidates a round of applause. On November the 3rd, which is election day. Please go out and vote. But before you start to move around, let us please go to the throne and pray before we leave out. Drum, will you come forward and close us out with prayer?
Amen. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this gathering tonight, Lord. We thank you for the good time that we had, Lord. It's good when people can come together and have a good time, Lord, for a meaningful event, Lord. And we thank you for what we've heard. We thank you for what we learned, Lord. Lord, now we ask that you just allow us to go home and use the information that we got to make a wise decision come November 3rd, Lord. Now, Lord, as we leave this place, we ask that you rest, rule, and abide with us, Lord. May we return home to our homes in the condition that we left it, Lord. If not better, Lord. It's in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. Amen.